Hello and welcome to the Matrix Fitness live workout. My name is Matt Gleed and I'm going to take you through your workout today. We're going to be doing around about a 28-minute workout today. We've got 3 rounds of exercises, and when we're doing the exercises, we'll be doing 45 seconds of work, and I'm going to give you 15 seconds as I coach you through and prepare you for the next exercise. I'll do every single repetition with you, and I'll make sure that I lead you through different ways that you can make the exercise better, as well as giving you a little bit of knowledge about how to do the exercise with the best technique as well. So let's get you warmed up, then we'll take you through the workout, and then we'll finish with a little bit of a yoga movements just to help you relax and take any tension out of the muscles that you've added to as well. You're going to need just a little bit of space today, and I've got a mat nearby me, just make it a little bit more comfortable when we come down towards the floor as well. So let's begin with our warm-up, and we'll go. Start to bring your arms across your body, reaching across just to start to prepare the joint around the shoulders, the chest, and get some of those back muscles all prepared, ready for a tough workout if we can get you there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to start taking you for a rotation. So the arms around about chest and shoulder height, pivoting around through your feet, making sure there's a bit of mobility coming in your ankles, your hips, and your upper back as well. We just want to create a little bit of freedom in your body so it can move well, and then we can start to build up a little bit of strength, conditioning, some core work, and I've got a few options at the end of today's workout where you can start to push your fitness as well. Let's take your feet shoulder width apart and just lower your hips down towards your heels into a squat position. I want you to go as low as feels comfortable for you, so don't worry too much about going into this perfect squat position straight away. Adjust where your feet are, make sure it feels comfortable for you. We just want to draw a bit of blood to the muscles so that we can then start to challenge them with some really good form as we're doing this. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take you into a step back lunge. With your feet together, take a large step backwards, lower the back knee down towards the floor, step up, and we're going to alternate the feet from one side to the other. As you're doing this movement, just take your time, start to feel what it's like for you to move today, lowering the back knee down towards the floor. And an important part here is to have equal weight through both feet. So try not to leave your weight over your front foot. Make sure when you step in that position, you can go directly down towards the floor, come back up, and we'll swap over the legs. Okay, now let's start to get your heart rates up a little bit more. I want you to imagine that you've got a skipping rope. And what I want you to do is just to start pushing off the floor so we can start to get your heart rate up. Now, the nice thing about an imaginary skipping rope is you're not going to leave yourself some red marks when you're whipping the back of your legs. So just start pushing off the floor. Now, as we start to get your heart rates up a little bit more, we're going to add in a little bit of agility work here. So let's just get you moving from side to side. Just a little bit of a bounce, just pushing off the floor. And let's also just start to scissor those legs. So one foot goes forwards and backwards, alternating across the body. This will just help activate a lot of the nerves around the feet, which means that you'll hopefully find some of our balance exercises today a little bit easier. That's right, we're going to challenge your balance as well as doing some conditioning work today. So we've got a couple of exercises which will challenge that a little bit for you. Okay, just shake all that out. Let's take you into a little bit of fighting. Bring your hands up to the side of your face. You're going to jab, cross, jab. We're going to jump 180 degrees and again jab, cross, jab with the opposite sides. Now, whenever you're throwing these punches, I want you to connect your fists and your feet together. So you're going to pivot off the feet and actually integrate all of your muscles as you throw those fists forwards, bringing the hands back to shoulder height each time. Keeping your movement going well. Okay, and just loosen those up a little bit. Let's take you into a little jumping jacks, just starting to take your heart rates out towards the sides. Now, one of our first exercises today is going to be an exercise called a speed skater, where we're going to move dynamically from side to side. Now, if you've got enough space to do these jumping jacks, you'll have enough space to do the speed skaters. And if you've got a little bit more, you can always steal a little bit more space as well. Excellent. Just shake the body out one last time. Let's take you into some knee strikes and prepare you for some big range of movements as well. So I'm going to pivot my feet over to the side, arms up high, and I'm going to drive my knee up 3 times on each side, then pivot and over to the opposite side. So reaching the hands up high and bringing your knee to stomach to chest height, which means you've got this big dynamic movement, which not only increases your heart rate, but prepares you for some big range of movement coming up as well. Last couple here, and relax. Now, we said that speed skaters first, so this is what it's going to look like. You're going to push from side to side. Let's get moving. 45 seconds. This is your speed skater. our first conditioning drill where we're going to accelerate your heart rate a little bit more. And we're going to find this athletic position. So just lower yourself down closer towards the floor. Use your arms in this athletic way so it can help control this big range of movement that you've got. And at the same time, it can keep you controlling that athletic movement. Now you can see I'm leaving my foot off the floor as I push from side to side. One of the options you have got is to step the foot in and just take a large step from side to side. So if you want to take yourself into this range, that's absolutely fine. But if you can push yourself, that's even better. Okay, relax there. Exercise number 2 is called a clock lunge. So I'm going to create a little bit of room in front of me. I'm going to take a large step forwards into a lunge. Then I'm going to lunge out towards the sides. And then I'm going to do the same on the opposite side. So opposite leg lunges forwards and out towards the sides. So think of it as 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock. Really depends on which angle that you want to lunge towards and also which direction you're traveling, whether it be your left leg or right leg. So just a large range of movement here. It's not about the speed of which you're moving. It's much more about feeling a little stretch on the inner thigh and at the front of the hip as you go into these deep movements. So take your time, maintain that quality, just find those big range of positions, especially the ones out towards the sides. Now we are going to do all of these exercises a second time. So I'm going to introduce you to one more exercise, and then we'll do all 3 of these again. The next one is called a single leg deadlift. So I'm going to stand with my feet together. I'm going to be sideways on. If you need to hold on to something to give you a little bit of balance, that's absolutely fine. You know, you're going to lift one leg up behind you and then balance and bring yourself back to a standing position. So let's go for 45 seconds. Now your hands can touch onto your thigh for a little bit of support. They can reach down towards the floor, or you've even got an option of reaching your arms out in front of you if you'd like to. Now, if you've got really good flexibility and mobility, you're going to find that this range of movement is quite easy for you, and that's absolutely fine. As part of conditioning work, it's really important to work on exercises like balance. So if balance is actually quite good, try not to touch the foot onto the floor. Try and leave it up into the air, so you are challenging that balance and coordination at all times. So there's a little bit of challenge in every single exercise. So let's bring those 3 exercises together: the speed skater, the clock lunge, and then we're going to do the deadlift. And on the next ones, I'm going to face and do the opposite leg. So just be mindful about which leg you just did. But let's get you ready for that speed skater. Time to get those heart rates back up again. Let's move in this dynamic position, pushing from side to side again. I think this is one of the best exercises to do to improve athletic development. What I mean by that is this is going to help give you a bit more conditioning work around the thighs, inside and the outside. Good for making your bums look good. And at the same time, just keeping you in an athletic position. So crosses over really nicely into sports. I know a lot of you are going to be missing your sports, even if you're just a runner and you like doing that in races or just casually. But maybe you're in a sports team, anything from netball, basketball, hockey, football, rugby. All of these sports require you to change direction. So this is one of these athletic conditioning skills that's really important to maintain. Okay, relax there. Let's take you into those lunges. So creating a little bit of space. Remember, it's 12 o'clock and then hitting 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock to the sides as well. So trying to challenge your inner thighs. Starting in 3, 2, 1. Let's go into that deep lunge and then out towards the sides. Opposite leg. Good. Now just take your time in these movements. Today's workout is not one which is going to challenge your heart rate a huge amount. However, we are going to finish on a challenging exercise just to get after it, just to give you the option if you would like that to happen. You can always make exercises harder at any time if you've got any additional weights that you want to use. That will start to challenge you a little further. And at the same time, push your heart rate up a little bit more. The harder the work, the harder your body has to do. So keeping these deep lunge positions moving, big ranges, and relax there. Okay, now the last exercise in this first round is that single leg deadlift. So again, find something to focus your attention on. That will help give you a little bit more balance and coordination. Lifting one leg, and you can either reach your hands down onto your thigh, down towards the floor, or you can just hold the arms out in front of you as well. So you pick the balance movement that you would like to work on. And just keep that flexion. So bending at the hip, leaning forwards, lifting your back leg back behind you. Take your time. Doing balance work doesn't need to be done quickly. It needs to be done with control. So if you can keep your foot off the floor, where you don't have to touch the floor, that is definitely going to be your more advanced option. And you're going to feel all of those little muscles all around your feet starting to stabilize and challenge as they maintain that balance. And you might lose it a few times, and that's absolutely fine. Well done. Okay, loosen yourself out. Let's grab your mats and let's come down to the floor. If you don't have a mat, a towel or a comfortable jumper can help people as well. What we're going to do is we're going to get you set up in a mountain climber position. So it's a bit like a press-up position. Hands underneath your shoulders, and we're going to bring your knees across to the opposite elbow. Now take your time with this. I don't want you running and going too quickly. I want you to maintain control. Eyes looking down at the floor, making the back muscles work strong. Drive that knee across your body. Just keep that steady movement. Good work. Now, as you're doing this movement, it's all about trying to make the exercise harder. So if you want to make this a little bit harder, think about squeezing your shoulder blades together and squeezing your butt cheek on the leg that is straight. Relax there for me. Okay, now don't worry, we're coming back to that exercise as well. But first, the next couple of exercises is going to be a side plank with a reach. So what we're going to do is hold that strong side plank up. We're going to reach underneath the body and bring yourself back up. So stack your feet on top of each other. Rotate underneath the shoulder blade. Bring yourself back up to a tall position again. Maintaining that strong alignment in the body. The goal is to always keep the hips high. Now, if you find that your balance starts to go, you can always bring that top foot, instead of it being on top of the other leg, bring this top foot in front of you, and that will just help give you a little bit more stability. And if at any time you need to, you can always stop, rest, and then we'll come back to it. We are just doing one side, which means that we've got to make sure that the control is there. If you feel like you're losing your technique at any time, just stop, count to 3, reset yourself, and then go again. Okay, relax there. Have a lie down on your backs for me. What we're going to do is we're going to flatten your spine onto the floor, and I'm going to ask you to dig one heel into the floor and lift one heel up in the air. From here, what you're going to do is push down through the heel on the floor and lift that foot up towards the ceiling. This is a single leg glute bridge. I think this is one of the best exercises to help bring your calf, hamstring, glute muscles and lower back together, where they can start to really fire up in the same place. Now, this is a sort of exercise that you might find people who have got any weak core muscles working on, or even if they're looking to try and develop that whole chain of muscles firing at the same time. So again, people who are runners, team sports players, this is a really nice, safe exercise for integrating a lot of muscles together. Definitely one of my favorite go-to exercises for rehabilitation work. Excellent. Okay, rest there for me. What we're going to do, turn you over onto your front again. And again, we're going to do those mountain climbers where the knee comes across the opposite foot. I said the opposite foot, I mean the opposite elbow. So plank position, knee to the opposite elbow, coming across the body. Let's get working. So 45 seconds of work. Then we'll give you a 15 seconds recovery, back to the side planks. And then onto those glute bridges on the single leg as well. So remember how to make this exercise a little harder. Squeeze the shoulder blades together so the back muscles have to work. The leg which is extended, squeeze the butt cheek as you drive the opposite knee across. Take your time. Allow the muscles to actually be under tension by keeping them working. I see so many people running when they're doing this exercise and they're trying to do it quickly. The time doesn't go any quicker. Much better to keep control and to make the muscles work hard. And rest there. Okay, let's get you set up for your side plank. So again, feet stacked upon each other. The other option is to bring the top foot in front. That'll just give you a little bit more stability. So you pick yourself whichever option you would like to work on. 3, 2, reach up, and then underneath your body. And again, your goal is to maintain the form. So keep your hip pressing up the whole time. I don't want the hips to start to sag at any time at all. Remember, if you wanted to, you could always put the foot in front. If you need a little breather, that's absolutely fine. We're just over halfway, so you pick the intensity you want to work with. Keep the hips up high. Reach underneath the shoulder. Last 5 seconds, so we get another couple of repetitions here. And relax there. Okay, let's turn you onto your backs and we'll go back into those hip presses. So remember which foot was used last time? Let's swap them over. One heel is down onto the floor. One heel is pushed up towards the ceiling. Push down through the floor to lift the hips up as you integrate calf, hamstrings, glutes, and lower back all at the same time. Now, if your mind starts to wander when you're doing this exercise, just focus on pushing your hip as high as it can go. So the height of the hip is definitely your focus, and then all of the benefits start to come in together then. Keep that big range of movement. Be strong in that position. So keep your eyes looking up towards the ceiling. Press the heel up as high as you can go towards the ceiling. It doesn't matter if your leg is dead straight or not. It just really does depend on the amount of flexibility you've got in your hamstrings. You've got 5 seconds to go. Then we're going to pick up the mat, move that out the way, and we're going to start to then focus on, let's get you up, some of our more conditioning exercises and cardio exercises as well. So the first exercise we're going to do is a lunge. So what we're going to do, get you down into a lunge position. Now, this is going to be what I'm going to call a pyramid set. So hold this low position, lift the back knee off the floor, hold here. Come up and back down once, then pause. Now you come up and down twice. And then pause. Don't let that knee quite touch the floor. Let's do it 3 times. And then pause. Now this time, 4 movements and then pause at the bottom. And the back knee just comes off the floor just slightly each time. Pause here. Okay, now do it 3 times for me. So we're going back down that pyramid. Pause at the bottom. Now 2 in a row. Now hold it. Now just 1 repetition. We hold at the bottom. Pause there and relax. Okay, now we've just done 1 leg. So remember which foot was just at the back. Let me show you the next couple of exercises and we'll swap those legs over. The next one is a walkout. So standing with your feet close together, lean forwards from your hips, and I want you to walk your hands. Come and join me if you can into that press up position. Then walk your hands back up to a standing position and stand tall. Now, you've got an option. If you would like to get a little bit more upper body strength, add in a press up at the bottom of that movement and then bring you back up again. Now, each time you go into these positions, try and get used to keeping your legs as straight as possible. And if you find that you have got tightness in your legs, you might need to just bend your knees a little bit. But I want you to set yourself the goal of keeping your legs as straight as possible so they get that stretch. And it starts to challenge them as well. The last one here. And what we'll do is we'll stay down in this low position. So resting here, rest onto the knees. Now, the last exercise we're going to do is a burpee. Now, I did say that we're going to try and challenge you as well. So 3 jumps. From this position, we jump in, up, and then out. Okay, so they're your 3 jumps. Now, if a burpee isn't for you, you can take yourself into a stepping movement here. Check this out. So you step back, step in, and stand up. So you've got the choice about how hard you want to work. I just want you to get after the workout so you can challenge yourself in the best way possible. Each time you do a repetition, stand tall, making sure your spine is straight. And even if you're jumping them, just take a second just to reset your spine so you don't lose good technique as well. Last 10 seconds of work. You pick the option that's good for you. If you want to walk it out or if you want to jump these last few, you can always change your mind. Okay, relax there. Now let's change the feet over for that split squat. So down into our lunge position. We know the drill now. 1 movement, then 2 movements, 3, 4, and then back down 3, 2, and 1. So knee comes just off the floor. Hold it there. Up and back down just for a single rep. Then pause. Now it's 2 reps. Bring yourself up, back down twice. Hold at the bottom. Now 3 times. Bring yourself up. So it's all about maintaining that position and getting used to working. Hold it. Now this time 4. So keep that range of movement. Keep control. This is where your weight has to be equal between both legs. Pause. Now 3. Each time, just that little bit of a pause in between the sets. Hold it. Now give me 2. Pause. Now the single rep on its own. Hold just the last couple of seconds and you're good. Okay, let's get you ready for those walkouts. Feet together, hinging from your hips. Lean forwards, walk yourself out. Option of the press up at the bottom as well. Just keep your legs as straight as possible and your back as straight as possible. So it's a real bow forwards. Let's get you working. Hands out in front into that press up position. Option of the press up. And then walk yourself back up again. Standing tall. Good. Keep that control. It's not about rushing this movement. Keep focusing on feeling as if your back and your legs can be as straight as possible. Bring yourself back tall. Just over 10 seconds to go. Even if you add in that press up and it's on your knees, give it a go. Okay, let's get down one more time. And wherever you are, let's get you ready for those burpees. Okay, so the burpees, the last exercise, this is your chance to push your fitness. Big finish, that's what we're looking for. 3 jumps, jump in, jump out, jump up, or step in, step out, and stand up. Your choices. After this, we'll take you through a bit of yoga. So let's get you working. Earn the recovery that's coming around the corner. Big range of movement if you can. Get a bit of height and power into those jumps up into the air. Keep this going. And we're coming down to just your last 10 seconds. See how many more repetitions you can do. See how quickly you can move through and keep the quality of movement as well. Maybe coming down to your last one. And you are there. Great job, everybody. Well done. So allow your breathing to come back down. Grab a mat. Let's get you ready for a few stretches. Okay, now what we're going to do to begin with is take you into a couple of movements called up dogs and down dogs. So hands underneath the shoulders. I want you to rest your knees and feet onto the floor. Lower your hips towards the floor and allow your eyes to look up to where the wall and the ceilings meet. Roll your shoulder blades back down. Now from here, dig your toes underneath the body, push into your hands, lifting your hips high, and look towards your toes. Now just pedal your heels so they start to find a little stretch for the calves. Now from here, let's transfer your weight forwards. Lower your hips down again. Now this time I'm going to keep the knees off the floor just so I can feel a little bit more of a stretch through the front of the hips. Now again, we go back into downward facing dog. So push into your hands, lift your hips high. We're just going to hold the downward dog this time. Looking towards your toes to hold this position. Now lift one leg up and swing that foot up towards where your hand is. Now if it hasn't quite got there, just give it a little bit of movement. Pick it up, move it a little bit. Reach your hand high towards the ceiling and push your back heel away. Trying to create this biggest stretch that you can. From here, bring your hand down onto the floor, step back, and then over to the opposite side. Reach your hand high again, push the back heel away, hold this strong position for me. Then from here, bring the hand down onto the floor, step back into that downward facing dog. Now this time, you're going to rest your knees to the floor, bringing your big toes closer together, rest your hips towards your heels. Now just think about walking your fingertips forwards so you can create a bigger stretch just down the outside of the back. So from the underarms down towards your spine. Now, we're going to transfer you up into a standing position. So tuck the toes under, transfer your weight through the heels, roll up for your spine, and just loosen your body up a little bit. Good work. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take you into a quadricep stretch. So a little bit of balance work. So again, hold on to something if you would like to. We're going to bring one foot into the palm of your hand. Bring yourself into a standing position where you're nice and tall. And I want you to think about pushing the front of your hip open. So as you push that hip forward, you feel a little bit more of a stretch through the front of the hip here. Think about pushing your foot into the palm of your hand. And that can just help stretch the quadricep out a little bit more. Okay, let's swap that over to the opposite side. Again, slight bend in the standing foot. Lengthen through the body. Push the hip forwards. And again, just think about pushing your foot into the palm of your hand as you start to develop that stretch through the thigh. Well done. Slowly bring it down. Loosen out a little bit. Now imagine wrapping your arms around a giant inflatable ball. And if that ball was being blown into, the ball would get big and your elbows would start to move further and further away. And you start to feel a stretch through the upper back. From here, bring the arms around you. Link them together behind your lower back. Now lift your chin and chest tall, squeezing your shoulder blades together. Think about bringing your elbows closer towards each other at the back of the body. And then just slowly release it. Thank you very much for joining me. This has been the Matrix Fitness Workout. We will be back again at 5 o'clock this evening. So if you would have been checking out the exercises to join in later on, that would be great to see you at that time. And if not, we will be back next week on Tuesday and Thursday, 7:45 in the morning, 12 o'clock lunchtime, and also 5 o'clock in the evening as well. Take care, everybody. See you soon. Bye-bye.